Baybank is using advanced banking technology to bring a new order to your checking account. With new Check View, the easy way to review all your checks at a glance, all in perfect order. New Check View from Baybank. Advanced banking technology.
A pink chateau. Fast food to go. A swinging place. A warm embrace. Bermuda. A short trip to the perfect holiday.
The country with the toughest anti-abortion laws, thanks to the help of American right-to-lifers. Their next target, America. Watch 2020, Friday.
Mr. Elkind, as Mr. Luce has pointed out, Mr. Ross is not yet a presidential candidate, even if he's giving a pretty good impression of someone who's about to become one. He's gotten a fairly easy ride so far, precisely because he's not a candidate yet, and he's new, and it's kind of fresh, and it's interesting, and he's colorful, and he talks in interesting sound bites. How does he respond when the searchlight gets a little brighter or the microscope is cranked up to a higher degree of magnification? Does he respond well to that kind of investigation?
Well, he gets prickly. He's not a patient man, and that's part of what I think America likes about him, that he's a man of action, a man of deeds, a man who gets things done. So when people have tried to examine him, he's had a limited amount of tolerance for that. But I think now it's more important than ever, obviously, to look into his past, to look into what he's done. Because while he says what you see is what you get, there's a lot in his history that offers contradictory signals that suggests that his actions in some ways contradict his words.
I don't want to stick you with a headline from one of your stories, but as I recall, one of the headlines went something along the lines of, you know, when necessary, Ross Perot, he lies, he cheats. It wasn't very flattering. He's a guy who can get very tough when he has to, in a mean-spirited sort of way?
Absolutely. I mean, the imperative about Ross Perot is that he gets the job done. And in this climate where America's looking for leadership, as Tom says, yes, that's very appealing. But the question is, what rules does he break along the way?
Oh, Ted, I've got to jump in
Well,
there.
I haven't said any specifics. There's nothing to interrupt about.
Well,
I mean, the admission in Tehran...
You certainly haven't, but you've certainly said some pretty bold statements that,
I'd like
that are absolutely incorrect.
I'd like an opportunity to elaborate, if I may. I mean, for example, Ross Perot sent a commando team into Tehran, and yes, in a mission that received lots of attention, a book was written about it and a movie, they sprung 2 EDS employees, which was a fine thing. It's a good thing it happened. But obviously, we can't have private businessmen making a habit of employing private armies and going to other countries. Ross Perot personally flew to Hanoi in violation of the Logan Act and negotiated with a foreign government.
Let's stop right there. He was not in violation of any law. He was asked to go by the administration, number one. Let's stick to the facts. Number two, let me read from what Mr. Elkin said just a short few years ago before people started putting Mr. Perot on the ballot. His last headline was, Perot for president.
Question mark.
It's hard to imagine a better leader in crisis. Like Winston Churchill, Perot has the skills to mobilize a nation, to marshal the national will for a fight to the last breath by every man on every shore. Now, that's the type of leadership that I've known Ross Perot to exhibit for 20 years.
That quote is indeed from my story, which I wrote a few years ago, but it's also wildly out of context. The issue was a question, Ross Perot for president, and my conclusion that it would be terribly unwise for Ross Perot to become president of this country. He is essentially a radical pragmatist. He doesn't believe in following the rules, and he didn't do so in many cases, many celebrated cases, as a private businessman.
Let me go to Mr. Christian for a moment, because there is something that interests me that I can't recall happening with a national politician in recent years, and the only explanation that I have for it, and I'd be interested in yours, is precisely that people don't yet know precisely what he stands for. And that is that in Texas you've got roughly 35% conservatives, 35% liberals, 35% moderates, equal in their support for Ross Perot. Now, I haven't yet met the politician who can, over a long period of time, be all things to all people. How does he manage that?
Now, I think it's primarily because of disenchantment with the two political party candidates, the likely nominees of the two parties. Obviously, he's inheriting a lot of built-in opposition that they have. But I think you have to recognize, Ted, that Perot is pretty well known in Texas. He's been around the track a good bit here. In the political arena sometimes. He has his detractors in Texas. He's taken on people in Texas and left bruises. At the same time, he's generally recognized, I think, among all types of Texans as being a leader. Again, back to what Tom Luce said and what and Peter Elkind said. That's what people seem to be looking for, and they're zeroing in on him. Who else is out there that has exhibited the qualities of leadership that he has? I think you have to look at the field and compare him with who else is out there.
I'm sorry to interrupt again, but we've got to take another quick break. When we come back, I'll make it easy for you. I'll tell you the question now. I'm going to ask each of you whether you think, in fact, he's going to run and what kind of a campaign he's going to run. We'll be back in a moment.
Mom sent pictures. You're as big as a house.
Oh, you should see me.
Moments like this were made for Gold MasterCard. With the added credit you've earned.
It's a long drive, and you'll need the map.
Plus, no card is more welcomed at home or abroad. Not American Express, not even Visa.
Oh, Lori, I can't believe it. How in the world?
Gold MasterCard, the best gold card to master the moment.
Each year, corporate America spends over $10 billion on overnight shipping. Yet, according to a report in the Wall Street Journal, $3 billion of that is wasted. If you find that kind of inefficiency alarming, call UPS. We can save you up to 40% on overnight deliveries and help prevent your profits from going up in smoke. UPS. We run the tightest ship in the shipping business.
Right now, IBM is going beyond conventional computing by pioneering a way to touch millions of lives.
They love the hands-on stuff.
Information becomes something with an imagination.
IBM Multimedia.
You can touch so many emotions with pictures and colors and sounds.
It's really wonderfully exciting.
Don't put your dreams on hold. Announcing a very special Accord lease program at participating Honda dealers.
It's a mower like no other. For only $299.99, get this 5-horsepower Craftsman power-propelled mower that lets you bag or mulch. Save $100. It's a spectacular value above the rest.
Sold to the highest bidder on the next Good Morning America, how to get the best deal at home auctions.
Also news anchor Peter Jennings and Mickey Rourke here on Good Morning America.
We literally have only a minute left for the rest of this program, so only the first part of the question. Mr. Luce, will he run?
He's been very specific. If people get him on the ballot in 50 states, he'll run.
He even suggested today that he'd run on 49 if New York doesn't get him on. Is there a little bit of wiggle room there?
Well, the volunteers I've talked to in New York say they'll get him on the ballot.
All right. Mr. Elkind, do you think he's going to run?
He's been running for a couple of months. He's absolutely going to run.
And Mr. Christian, I quoted you at the beginning of this broadcast as saying you thought he was going to run. Why?
Well, a lot of voters are saying sick him, and he's got the bit in his teeth, and I think he will run.
All right, gentlemen, I thank all of you very much. Look forward to the rest of this campaign and hearing from you all again. Enjoyed having you with us.
Thank you.
That's our report for tonight. I'm Ted Koppel in Washington. For all of us here at ABC News, good night.
This has been Nightline. If you wish a videocassette version of Nightline, the cost is $14.98, plus $3.95 shipping and handling. If you wish a printed transcript of this or any Nightline broadcast, please send $4 to Journal Graphics, 1535 Grant Street, Denver, Colorado, 80203, or call 303-831-9000.
Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source.
Friday, Robbie joins a gang.
What do you guys do for fun? 9 o'clock, find things to meet up. 10 o'clock, beat 'em up.
It's irresistibly weird.
Boys gotta learn.